The Joe Rogan Experience.
31-year-old makeup artist falsely deported to El Salvador prison, lawyer says. Immigration attorney say a gay Venezuelan makeup artist seeking asylum in the U.S. was wrongly detained as a gang member and deported to El Salvador, a case becoming a flashpoint in the debate over the Trump administration's deportation of hundreds of migrants to a notoriously inhumane El Salvador mega prison. So again, it's hard to know.
It's hard to know
what's real and what's not real. But if it is real, this is fucking horrible.
But if you think about it, Joe, like I say, if you're rounding up hundreds of people, mistakes are going to get made because everyone's human.
100%.
And you then have to have a system, I think, that allows you to amend and make adjustments for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can't be bury your head in the sand and pretend it didn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
And this is the trouble with government. The incentive structure is all wrong. Like, to admit that is now embarrassing.
That's crazy.
Right? And it's scary. We have the same problem in the UK in terms of the illegal immigration. And if we ever get a government that's going to deal with that, we're also going to have to remove a lot of people who are there illegally. They shouldn't be there. A lot of them are. And, you know, like I said, we had a report that shows they're way more likely to commit sexual crimes, way more likely to commit violent crimes, they're way more likely to commit all sorts of crimes. We are going to have to remove them. But you have to do it in a way where there's due process and a respect for
Are they trying to remove them in England?
No.
At all?
No. They're saying they are, but they're not removing them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the mistakes like that have to be corrected if you want reasonable people to be on board with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. If you want, compassionate people to be on board with you, you can't deport gay hairdressers seeking asylum. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. And then throw them in an El Salvador prison. That's not
even his country.
Right.
You deport people back to their country.
Right. It's nuts. It's just, what was the story with the student that got arrested for writing an op-ed piece?
Is that the Khalil guy or
no? The woman.
Is that the girl from the Korean girl from? Is that the Korean girl from Columbia University? I don't know.
Korean.
No, that's a different one. There's so many of them. There was a woman who got arrested for writing some sort of a thing. This is a Turkish student at Tufts University. Latest Palestinian supporters swept up in U.S. crackdown.
Right.
What did she get arrested for? Have you seen this one?
No.
I saw it, but I haven't delved into it.
Joe, sorry, could I have the lighter, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
There you go.
She engaged in activities in support of Hamas, a foreign terrorist organization that relishes the killing of Americans.
But the department did not provide evidence of that support.
Right.
What does that mean? I heard she wrote some piece on Israel.
Yeah. I don't know what the law of that is because she's not an American national.
Right.
But instinctively, I'm just like, that's a lot. That's like crazy.
I think she's been in America, though, since she was 7.
Right. Has she?
I believe so.
I thought she had a student visa.
I think she's been in America since she was very young. I think that's one of the things that I had read.
Okay. She'd previously been arrested in April 2024 for taking part. Yeah.
Taking part in protests at Columbia University. So it seems like they're really trying to crack down at some of these Columbia protests, right?
And I'm in two minds about that because I think on a free speech basis, unless I don't know the law.
Just for clarity, that was a second person.
Second person.
Oh, this is a second person that was arrested?
Second arrest.
Oh, second pro-Palestinian Columbia University protester. Okay, so this second person has been arrested before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, are we really arresting people for protesting? Or are they protesting and also causing vandalism and violence? Like, what are we saying?
We don't know, right?
All right.
But I think there's the legal thing from what I've read is very complicated because if someone is not a U.S. national,
right,
they may be subject to different rules or they may not. I think that's a kind of live debate. But from a purely principles perspective, someone being arrested for writing an article seems extreme.
30-year-old was arrested and phically restrained by immigration officers near her apartment close to Tufts University's Somerville campus, where she was a PhD student. 6 plainclothes officers surrounded, how do you say that name? Ozturk?
Ozturk,
Ozturk. As she walked alone, neighborhood surveillance video appears to show the officers did not show their badges until she was restrained, the video shows. She affiliated with prestigious American universities to be arrested for purported activities related to terrorist organizations amid the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. So what did she say, though? Like,
she engaged in activities in support of Hamas. But what does that mean?
Right. Without specifying what those alleged activities were. Yeah, this is scary shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's just protesting. I mean, I don't know, you know.
Look, the counter argument on this, and I think it's one that I, as someone who visits the United States, also feel is like, I don't think the United States would have given this person a visa if she had told them this is what she plans to do in America, right? So that's their argument. That's the argument that Marco Rubio is making, which is if we'd known you were going to do this, we were never going to give you a visa.
Right. I don't think this is the one that I'm thinking about that was here since she was 7.
No, that's a Korean girl at Columbia University, Joe.
Oh, okay. And they're talking about deporting her, right?
Yes, they're talking about
Right.
deporting her, but I
That's
don't know enough about
And
that.
what had she done? Had she committed vandalism or
I don't know enough about it. Jamie, if you get it up, then we can have a look at it.
it's just...
But that's the one you're thinking of. The girl who'd been here since she was 7 is a Columbia student.
This girl also went to Columbia. It says she got a master's degree at Columbia.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Columbia is the hotbed.
Seems like that.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Why particularly Columbia?
Well, there have been a lot of protests, pro-Palestine protests in Colombia.
There she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. You know, we're rapidly approaching the time where America and the UK is going to have a pretty uncomfortable debate as to what is acceptable and what is unacceptable when it comes to dealing with people who come here illegally, people who commit crime, or even if they attend protests.
Yeah.
Where is the line? Because we're going to have to make a decision. Because until we do that and we start to actually apply the law as it's meant to be applied and put certain laws in place, then these type of things are just going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
100%, especially if someone wants them to happen. Because that's what my fear is, that a lot of these things are paid for and organized, and including a lot of these protests at universities. I think they're doing it on purpose. And I think they're trying to build up a lot of passion in these people for being disruptive, and a lot of passion for protest and passion for, and then they weaponize it. I really do. I believe that's exactly what they did with the Tesla buildings, with all the Tesla dealerships being light on fire. I think they weaponized it, and it's a good test run. You know, if they can weaponize it against Tesla, they can do that with a lot of other things and justify that kind of vandalism and fire and arson and all the chaos and property destruction.
I went to UCLA campus. This was May last year, and I went to a pro-Palestine demonstration, and I just went around just interviewing people, talking to students, and both on pro-Palestine and the other side. And one thing one of the kids said to me was, as he was trying to get into the library, he was like, you know, most of the people who are doing this, they're not from UCLA. They're not from this college campus.
Right.
What are they doing here?
Right.
He goes, look, fair enough. If you want to protest and you go to UCLA, that's all cool, whatever. Number one, don't stop me from getting an education when my parents have paid X amount for it. But number two, like, he pointed at one of the dudes. He was like, that guy's about 42. I know he doesn't go to my college.
Right.
Why is he here protesting?
It's being paid.
Yeah, and you're right. And there are a lot of foreign governments that want this shit to be going on.
100%.